'Cause the wicked carried us away. Captivity require from us a song. How can we sing King Alpha's song in a strange land?
Hide nothing from the masses of the people. Tell no lies. Expose lies whenever they are told. Mask no difficulties, mistakes, failures. Claim no easy victory.
The words there are Sister Tendai with the words of Amilcar Cabral. Claim no easy victory. I'm going to go to the phone lines now to speak with my sister Esther Figueroa, who will be talking to us about the Cockpit Country. We are hearing that mining is happening in the Cockpit Country, or about to happen in the Cockpit Country. Now, there are so many sides to the story. People like Esther Figueroa have been on this in a serious way, and we don't need to tell lies. We just need to speak truth, and to speak truth to power. So she joins me on the phone lines to talk to us about that. Esther Figueroa is an environmental activist, author, media maker, linguist, and educator. Esther, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Kabu. Thanks. Lovely to talk with you and your audience again.
All right. Yes, last time you were here, we went through the information and exactly why the Cockpit Country is important. You told us it represented the lungs of Jamaica, and that meant so much to a lot of people in understanding what we're talking about when we talk about the Cockpit Country. But let us start in the middle. We're hearing so much in the media about mining in the Cockpit Country. Can you say whether or not this is true?
Well, I'm heading there today and going to the site, so I'll report back to you. But what is happening is that there is a place near Byron Castle in St. Anne on the border with Trelawney, which Noranda is a North American mining bauxite aluminum company, of which Jamaica has a 51% interest. In other words, Jamaica is a majority owner in Jamaica of the St. Anne mining. And anyone who goes by Discovery Bay will see it right there. They send Jamaican soil out on a boat, and it goes to the States to be made into aluminum. What has happened is they have a special mining lease, number 165, which they inherited from St. Anne Bauxite Limited, dated October 2004. It's a 26-year lease. And what has happened is that they have expanded with a new haul road outside of the special mining lease area. And this has been documented by Windsor Research Center, and the photographs are really quite horrific. The government first said it's not Cockpit Country, and then they said it's not mining. The issue to understand is there's a lot of semantics going on. By mining, they mean there's no extraction taking place. But if you look, not all the destruction that takes place through bauxite mining is extraction. First of all, you build these roads, right? Mm-hmm. So the haul road, if you see the gash, they've gone through, they've deforested the area, they've dug it out, and these huge machines are going in and out. Okay?
Yes.
So they say it's not extraction. We don't know what it is, but they say, well, maybe prospecting. Well, earlier, the government said that for prospecting, you did not need an environmental license because it was just a little hole digging and some small things. This is huge machines and destruction. So if it is prospecting, I don't know what kind of prospecting it is, because the destruction is so huge.
Yes.
So the issue is this. This is what really I find frightening. They have a 26-year lease. And what the government does in these mining leases is they guarantee the amount of bauxite that will be extracted. Mm-hmm. And if the private sector entity, and in this case also government entity, does not find the amount of extractable bauxite that they've been promised, they're then able to go into what are called the reserves. They're special reserves. So they're parts of Jamaica that have been set up as reserves for bauxite companies to then be able to go outside of their lease into these reserves to get the bauxite that they've been promised. Okay?
Yes.
Cockpit Country is nothing but reserves. So on the one hand, we have Caldwell, our minister, saying there will be no bauxite mining in Cockpit Country. We have Pickersgill saying there will be no bauxite mining in Cockpit Country. But the reserves are there. So if you promise a company, okay, or yourself as a government, that if you do not get the exact amount of extractable bauxite that you've been promised over 26 years, right?
Yes.
You can go into reserve. Then we get into this very strange thing where we're saying on the one hand no, and on the other hand yes.
And for me, and I'm going to go now to the what we heard. I think it was Minister Robinson saying that there must be trade-off. I mean, he went. I don't know if you saw this clip on CVM News where he showed the picture of the boundaries, the many different boundaries. He said some of them are contested boundaries, and nothing has been decided on. But at the end of it all, he said, but even then, there must be some trade-off when you're dealing with investments like these. Now, what does that mean as far as you're concerned? What do you understand that to mean?
Well, what that means in Jamaica is we always talk about trade-offs, being fair, compromises. What that means is that the environment that we all depend on and the desires of the Jamaican people who have spoken loudly to say no bauxite mining in Cockpit Country don't matter. What it means is it doesn't matter how many of us say no. It doesn't mean how many people explain over and over the importance of forests. Do you know that the government of Jamaica has redefined forests to include farms and orchards? Okay?
Sorry, it is not even funny. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So that we, on the one hand, we make these statements, okay? Caldwell has come out and he said, we have to do things differently. Bauxite has to benefit the people. There has to be reclamation of the land. All of that is in the law. Okay?
Yes.
So if we haven't been doing it for 50, 60 years, are we suddenly going to start doing it?
But it's interesting. It's interesting, and I tie that to what I heard Minister Davies saying 2 days ago when he talked about areas for check, because he said mined out bauxite areas are going to be considered, and I'm wondering for what?
Well, there's now this claim that we know that the people of Jamaica are desperate for land because of all the things that have not happened. Reparations have not happened. Return of land has not happened. And so now suddenly the government is saying, okay, there are these bauxite areas. Some are going to be reclaimed and a few Jamaicans will get some of the land. First of all, you have to understand, the reclaiming is just laying down some marl and putting some grass. Okay, what had been the most rich soil that fed Jamaicans, right, and was taken away and destroyed, is never reclaimed in any way that can actually feed anybody again, okay? So what you're going to do, you're going to build there, okay, on some scrap. You mentioned the Chinese, and the fight that you have brought that all of us are part of, okay? The fact that Jamaica is being given away. I have a film, Jamaica for Sale. It's not for sale, it's Jamaica for take, right? So Jamaica is being given away. So these concessions, we're always told that we must be practical, we must be reasonable, we must make compromises. What are the compromises? That we're going to give Roaring River to the Chinese and anything they want, and now they're going to be fixing roads in Rio Grande. What are we going to give them in return for the roads they fix in Rio Grande? Are we going to give them Rio Grande River? What are we doing? Okay? We have to take a stand, Kabu. We have to take a stand. We have to stop this madness.
I am totally
that our government is giving away Jamaica, always with an excuse that we must be reasonable. Okay? There's no reason. There's no reason in it. It is corruption, and there's no reason in it. The Cockpit Country, no semantics. They talk about the different boundaries and what we're going to lose. You cannot lose something that is not there for the taking. So they talk about all the bauxite reserves that will be lost depending on the different type of boundaries. You cannot lose something that should not be taken. There are no losses. The losses are to the people of Jamaica and the future of Jamaica if Cockpit Country is mined. That is the loss.
We have seen the pictures.
There is no compromise.
None. We have seen the pictures, and I hear you say no semantics, and I'm totally with you on that page. We have seen the pictures. We know that there are activities taking place in the Cockpit Country, activities that can only be interpreted as you're getting ready to mine, or else why you're doing that, only God knows. Now we're hearing all kinds of semantics from the government. One of the things that they're underscoring is that no boundaries have been defined. I think this is an uphill battle, that this is a fight. You're going there today, Esther, just to see what's happening there. We'd really like to hear from you when you return, what you've seen and how you interpret what you see there. But where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? KSR community.
Well, I think, we're exhausted, the few of us that work on these issues, because every time there's some other thing that pops up. I just wanted to mention something about that area, is that it's, what we don't understand when we redefine forests as orchards and farms is that forests are an ecological, biological system of their own, and they sustain us and all sorts of things. This area that is about to be mined out is what's called a birding hotspot, okay? The birds that live there, they're, over 60 species, of which over 30 are endemic, have been seen there, okay? You might say, well, birds don't matter.
Esther, I have to cut in. I'm so sorry, because I did cut into a lot of your time, but we have only 30 seconds. I'm very, very sorry. But obviously you come back next week to tell us what you've seen.
Yeah, I'll update you.
Yes, but go ahead with the 30 seconds.
And we'll talk about what next. No, we'll talk about what next. What next is that the people of Jamaica have a government that is authoritarian and autocratic and doesn't take our wishes and desires and our future.
Enough is enough.
Doesn't listen to us. And so we have to find a way to make them listen.
Thank you so much, Esther Figueroa. Thank you so much. We'll hear from you again when you've returned from the Cockpit Country. Thank you so much. Environmental activist, author, and you heard her talk about her film, Jamaica for Sale. Please watch that documentary. It is online. You can watch it. Jamaica for Sale, important, done by Esther Figueroa. All right, we're gonna go to standing by for dollars, pick 2, pick 4, pick 3, cash pot, early bird drawers coming up next right here.
This is news from IRI FM, Jamaica's non-aligned news voice.
Good morning. I am Cherie Hay with the local and international headlines. A man was shot and killed in Pimento Walk near Ocheria Santan early this morning. Up to news time, police had not released the details of the incident, but this is the third murder to be committed in the parish in 3 days. The first was 43-year-old Clinton Robinson, otherwise called Money Tree, from Steertown on Friday. Police say about 12:15 p.m. a gunman approached Mr. Robinson at a shop in Steertown and shot him. He died while being treated at hospital. The second incident happened in Brownstown yesterday. Dead is 35-year-old Nika Zari Gordon, also called Chris or Fastic, of Philadelphia District in the parish. He was allegedly stabbed by another man at the Brownstown bus park. The alleged attacker, who is said to be from Spanish Town, St. Catherine, fled the scene and is being sought by police. Acting head of the St. Anne Police, Superintendent Steve Brown, says the incident resulted from a dispute between two men who load buses in the park over money. The Senate on Friday passed the Revenue Appeals Division Act 2015 to establish an independent tax appeal entity within the Finance Ministry. The bill, which was passed with one amendment, fulfills an outstanding recommendation by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, from 2008. The Revenue Appeals Division will replace the Taxpayer Appeals Department. In his contribution to the debate on the bill, Opposition Senator Dr. Christopher Tufton stated that he believed that there might be a conflict of interest in the bill. He says the same ministry that is responsible for revenue protection would also be the ministry in charge of appeals. One man was taken into police custody for breaches of the Firearm Act at a party on Malines Road, Kingston 10 yesterday. Reports from the Hunts Bay Police are that about 1:50 a.m. the police went to a session and saw a man acting in a manner that aroused their suspicion. The man was searched and a 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 15 cartridges was taken from the man. He was taken into custody. However, his identity is being withheld pending further investigations. The Hard Trust NTA this week launched its Labour Market Information Portal, which is an online platform aimed at increasing public access to labour market information. The interactive portal provides extensive labour market information on the Jamaica labour force, employment, skills in demand, and surplus and labour force trends. Hart says the portal also features a skills bank and that the next phase will incorporate real-time job vacancies, career matching, and career explorer support services. The Chinese government has donated medical equipment and supplies valued at $400,000 to the ophthalmology department at the Kingston Public Hospital. The Chinese ambassador made the donation to Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson during a tour and handing over ceremony at KPH on Friday. Dr. Ferguson also met with a group of Chinese eye doctors who performed free cataract surgeries on about 200 Jamaican patients as part of the Chinese government's medical aid project Bright Journey. The Bright Journey medical mission is in Jamaica for the period May 18 to 28, offering free cataract surgery and clinical care.
Good morning, I'm Robert Williams with IRFM's Sunday Sports Diary. Today is the grand final in the Live National Street Futsal Tournament. The National Indoor Centre is where the action will be, starting at 5 o'clock with the semi-finals. 3 semi-finalists will be decided earlier when the rained-out matches from last Sunday will be contested. This will see Portmore taking on St. James, St. Catherine against St. Thomas, and Portland against St. Andrew. The winners will join Kingston in the last 4. Ahead of the grand final at 9:30, the Alder Costa and All Manning Cup teams will square off at 8:30. And there are no more tickets available for entry to the National Indoor Sports Centre, but big screens will be outside to accommodate persons without tickets. And of course, IRFM will have live updates throughout the match to of course bring you up to speed with what is happening if you're unable to get inside the National Indoor Sports Centre. Bacca Stars and Classic United will face off this afternoon in the Trelawney Moneymus Plantation Rum Major Football League at the Ellis Wakeland Centre. In another game, Clarkstown take on Prospect Links at Hyde Sports Ground. 2 games are on today in the St. Best Co-op Credit Union Jack Sprint Division 1 football competition. At Lacovia, St. Best opposed Party United, while over at the Whitehall Field, Great Bay Lions take on Middle Quarters. A lone rescheduled encounter takes centre stage today in the Trelawney National Rums of Jamaica Division 1 Football League. Raya Bueno hosts Granville at Raya Bueno. C&J Strikers will take on Newcastle FC in the opening game of today's doubleheader in the Limehall Community Football League at the Limehall Community Centre at 2 o'clock. The second game at 3:30 will see St. Anne's Bay Police Youth Club going up against Unity Strikers. The East Central St. Catherine Portmore Under 15 football competition continues today at the Watson Grove playing field at 12 o'clock. Nago Head opposed Cumberland. The 140 encounter sees Greater Portmore tackling Westport. Watson Grove clash with East Portmore Portals at 3:20, while at 5 o'clock it's Edgewater against Daytona. The Southwest St. Anne Community Football League gets underway this afternoon with a dress parade involving the 26 participating teams at the Wilson Shop Playfield at 3 o'clock. The opening game of the competition at 3:30 has defending champion St. Dacre facing Rosetta. The Western Sports Kingston and St. Andrew Business House football season gets underway today at the Red Stripe Oval starting at 1 in the afternoon with a dress parade. The 24 teams participating in the competition will also be involved in the dress parade. The opening game at 2 o'clock will see ATL facing Xerox in Division 2 action, and in Division 1 at 4 o'clock Petrojam oppose Wisynco. The final set of preliminary round matches in the Somerton Four-a-Side Football League in St. James will be played this evening at the Bill Back Stadium in Somerton. The first game at 7:30 as Everfocus facing Teflon at a 30-yard cure meet at Delphi, and in the final game at 9:30 Sunderland meet Catherine Hall Auto Parts. The SDC 2020 Community Cricket Competition is continuing today with the elimination phase in all parishes. The feature vendor this week is the Kensington Cricket Club at 10 o'clock. Waltham Court go up against Queensborough, while in the feature encounter 2 Richmond Park do battle with Rollington Titans. Live updates on the Sporting Choice IRA FM starting at 10:35. The JCA Senior Cup 2-day quarter-final matches comes to a close today with games at 4 venues. The JDF battle St. Thomas at Up Park Camp. St. Catherine CC play Westmoreland at Paradise. St. Catherine Cricket Association are up against Kensington at Yorton, and Kingston host Manchester at Sabina Park. The St. Anne Cricket Association around the Boxside Premier League action today has Lime Tree Gardens hosting Beverley in the A-League. Hindstown play Chalky Hill at Hindstown, and Wilberforce take on Philadelphia at Philadelphia. The game between Parrytown and Mines has been postponed. The games get underway at 10 o'clock. The final game in the preliminary round of the Northwest St. Anne Community Netball League will be played this afternoon. Bamboo meet Bethel Town at Lilyfield at 4:30. Finally, quarter-final action in the Kingston Cooperative-sponsored Portmore Domino Major League is on today. The top-of-the-table clash sees Caribbean Classic facing Eagle View at Eradication Club. In other games, Spitfire battle Exceptional at Portmore Drive, International tackle Eradication at Garvermead, while Right Stuff oppose Spring Village at Passage Fort. From the IRFM Sports Desk, I'm Robert Williams.
How are you doing, Mr. Williams?
I'm okay.
All right, and
I presume you are excellent.
I am excellent. I'm doing very well, thank you so much. And feeling fit. You know, we walked the 5K from Roaring River to the club.
Feeling fitter.
Fitter. No.
Okay.
No. You're so wicked, Robert.
Just checking.
No, pain
Usually when muscles are sore, pain.
So why do you think my muscles sore?
I'm not saying yours are. I'm saying usually that happens. So if you're not having sore muscles, then
I am not having sore muscles.
I'm just checking.
I'm not unfit, you know.
No, you don't have to.
I might not be walking up and down like Dwight Fraser. But
you don't have to be unfit to have sore muscles. But if you extend the use of a different set of muscles,
yes.
Although you're fit, those muscles would be sore.
We were walking yesterday. You know, it's a good from Roaring River. You know the Roaring River sign is Laughing Waters to the Otrius Clock. But that's 5K, right? We did that, that's what we did the 5K from.
It's a little shorter it's longer than 5K.
Right, it's that's true. It's longer than 5K.
Yeah. I would know because I ran 10.
Really? Which are you run from?
Draxall. Well, St. Anne's-Bay, really.
Well, Omar Davies says that the land that China is going to be given is in the Draxall area. So that must be Roaring River. I'm just saying that's the Roaring River you run from.
No.
It's Draxall.
St. Anne's-Bay.
No, you said Draxall.
Yeah, but Draxall extends all the way to St. Anne's-Bay.
No, Draxall don't go to St. Anne's-Bay. Which part is in Draxall you want
from? You have that
the roundabout?
Right, the AJR Byfield Highway where it starts, just before you get to the start there. Isn't that Draxall too?
No. That's not
development
Draxall.
On the right-hand side, is that Draxall property?
What development? They might, just like how anything over the White River Bridge right the way to Orocabessa is called, it's Otrius. It's the same thing.
Okay.
But that's not Draxall.
I think that part was Draxall as well.
Well, the lands that are going to be given to check is certainly being developed already. If that's the case, I mean, because we're using the lands of Draxall lands.
We
right?
have that big gate there.
Yes.
There's a big development down they have parties and so on down that side too. Isn't that Draxall?
Which party? I don't know.
Just before you reach the island.
Del Mar?
Past that, man.
Like they're going to St. Anne's Bay?
Right.
Just before you reach the island?
Right.
That's not Draxall.
That development.
That's St. Anne's Bay bypass.
Right, but I'm saying that development over there on the right-hand side.
No, they call it Draxall because they're piggybacking on the Draxall thing.
Okay. Oh, I thought that was Draxall.
Where did you run from?
Right there.
Really?
Yes.
You run from far, man?
Yeah. A little.
And that is 10K?
Yeah, that was 10K.
Okay, so that is 10K. When we walked from Roaring River,
a little longer than 5.
It's a little longer than 5. That is quite true.
Good little walk.
Nice walk, and Kishima, myself, Amber.
Kishima walked.
Kishima was leading the chant.
Okay.
GMO has to go, and then I said no to Monsanto. So, Kishima.
Well, I was hearing the chant, but I didn't know who was chanting because it was so loud.
A lot of people led the chant. A lot of people led the chant. A lot of people walking.
I was here and I was hearing the chant.
You were hearing the chant. You were hearing the chant. That is when what I was doing before.
No.
So you hear the chant?
The window was open, so I was hearing the chant from all the way down there.
You're too live. You're too wicked. GMO
That tells you how loud you were chanting.
It was a good march. Good march. Thanks to everybody who came up.
Mm-hmm.
So talking about march, let's talk about driving.
You're talking about the Monaco Grand Prix. It's going on now.
It don't it look like?
No, man, it's not finished. There was an accident with Grosjean and the youngster from the Netherlands, Verstappen.
Robert, so, it looked like it, don't you know?
Well, because when I left, it was about 70 laps gone. But Rosberg looked like he was going to win.
It looked like him win. Rosberg.
But I don't know. I don't understand what happened because Hamilton was leading.
Right.
And then after the accident and the safety car came out and so on.
He pitted.
Rosberg was placed in front, Vettel was placed second, and Hamilton was placed third.
Because Hamilton, so I wasn't watching it or following it, but I figure Hamilton pit. That's why he ended up.
I don't know what happened.
Something happened.
I don't know what happened, but at the end.
Well, I'm just gonna let you talk because it's so like you realize that there's a conspiracy thing going on. You tell me what going on.
No, I don't have no conspiracy. Conspiracy only happens when Hamilton is not in front.
But Hamilton is not in front. But look here. But that's what you're telling me, no?
Yeah, because I was seeing some of it, and I just couldn't understand how Rosberg got to the front at that time, and then Hamilton was all the way in third, and I say with a few laps to go, then it means Rosberg must win because there's no way Hamilton can pass Vettel and then pass Rosberg to win. Knowing the Monaco track is
what it is. Yes, you really can't pass on it.
Normally, if you get pole, you're supposed to win there.
Right. Yes.
So I don't know what happened. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what happened. So I guess when I get back upstairs,
please tell me. Yes, please let me know what happened.
I just can't understand how he was in front and then he was in third.
You mean Hamilton?
Yes.
so you figure something fishy?
No. I don't think it's anything fishy. It's just that I just don't understand what happened.
And then if you don't understand it, and you're a man who understands it,
because I wasn't really watching per se, but I just realized that. The safety car was out, and then I saw I turned up the monitor and I heard them saying that the race is going to restart, but Rosberg is in front. So I just don't know what happened there.
I would like to know what happened. I would very much like to know what happened because I see the results. It looked like it's 78 out of 78 laps.
Yeah, well, if it's it's 77 laps, I think, for that course.
They're saying 78. Yes,
well, that means
that's what BBC saying. That means we definitely don't.
I brought a lap.
I would say Mercedes, Ferrari, Mercedes, Rosberg, Vettel.
Right, so it would be Rosberg, Vettel, and then Hamilton. I don't know what happened there, but
the BBC correspondent David, what is now Coulthard, he's saying he's tweeting this. He says you have got to at this stage return to the positives. If ever a man deserved a Grand Prix, it was Lewis Hamilton. You have to put your disappointment to one side and be respectful. This is what the emotion of Formula One is. It's about people. It's part of the game of Formula One.
So like in talking to somebody special.
Nico has to use this to his advantage psychologically and try to rub Lewis's nose in it. That's what a man there said, fire.
But him still not tell us what happened?
No, it's just a tweet I'm reading from him.
Oh, because
So what does he happen there?
I don't know. I'm just trying to see if there's anything here that says what happened, but I haven't seen anything. But it just happened, so maybe...
Yeah, because you poll on that, you're leading for 60 yard.
Up to 61 laps, I'm sure he was leading.
Yeah, you're not supposed to lose.
So I don't know what happened.
Because as you pointed out, the track is what it is. You're not supposed to lose. If you're a lead on a track, then
you're supposed to win.
You're supposed to win.
If you get pole,
right.
You're supposed to win. But I don't know how Rosberg ended up in front there.
You find anything? See there?
It says something about when he pitted, he emerged from the pits behind both teammate Rosberg and Ferris, and that was how it finished.
So that means they held him up in the pit? That means the tire change was long.
I don't.
How long was it?
I don't know. But apparently it was because he pitched, as you had said.
Yes, but you see, but everybody pitched at some point time.
He relinquished his advantage when Mercedes pitted him while the safety car was out.
Oh, okay.
So he lost the advantage. Okay. So it was his team. So it's a conspiracy.
It's something right there, so.
What if because of the accident he had to change tires?
Well, I would like to know. When you go up and say, please let me know. Let me know.
When it comes to Lewis Hamilton,
yes,
it's a conspiracy.
Right.
Yeah. But anybody else, it's okay.
Of course. What, wait, you going to say no to that? Or try and defend myself? It is what it is.
I hear you.
I know my biases.
I hear you.
I know what they are. I do not hide from them.
Well, we all have our biases, yes.
As Muta says, I don't have a color problem. I see everything in black. What?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yes. So
if you see everything in black, you can't have a color problem.
I don't have a color problem. So look here now. We're doing a Labor Day project tomorrow.
What's the place name?
Alright, so my husband will come here now.
At home?
You go and talk.
At home first and then over.
Yes, I'm taking this call. Yes, what happened with Hamilton?
Okay, you're getting the update on Hamilton. He relinquished his advantage.
A virtual safety car. It's a hologram, you know. It's a virtual safety car.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't the safety car, it was a virtual safety car.
The team respond to the hologram and send Hamilton in the back, in the pit. Right.
But the safety car is a Mercedes, too.
So when he came out, Rosberg and Vettel passed. So look here.
You see?
It's a straight sabotage. My husband, it's a straight sabotage.
So hold on. Nobody?
Because it's Rosberg one, you know?
Yes.
Yes.
But if Hamilton come out behind Rosberg, then naturally Rosberg is.
See, you know, here's the point. They wanted Rosberg to go into the record book as having the person with 3 successive wins at Monaco.
But he didn't have 3 he didn't have 3 successive polls. Hamilton denied in that.
Right, but he had 3 successive wins after them pitting for a hologram.
It's a Mercedes too. The safety car.
It's a Mercedes. Goodness gracious.
So he responded to the virtual safety car rather than the safety car.
Yeah, the team sent him in.
Then they tricked, man.
The Mercedes tricked him.
They must know the difference between hologram and the real thing.
Yes. So he must know if he signed the document yet. You know when I want him signed. So look here now. Where is they going to do your thing tomorrow?
Home first and then Dover.
Oh, you're going to Dover tomorrow? All right. Well, I'm going to Dover tomorrow.
Race?
Yeah, but talk like
regular motor racing.
Who's on pole?
Yeah, you'll have to. Qualifying is in the morning.
No, qualify for yesterday.
No.
Two of them are qualified.
No,
tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
All right. So who is? Do you know who are the people?
The regular drivers, Somerville and those guys will be there.
Will Thompson still driving?
He has not been there for a while. I haven't seen him driving for a while. Okay. I don't know if he still is.
Okay.
But not at Dover.
All right. So Somerville and the regulars
and riding too.
You know, I think I might go to Dover tomorrow.
Well, if you're there, we'll.
Yes, I think we're gonna hang out.
Yeah.
Because I was hanging out with Big A yesterday. I was in a place where a nice little thing was going on. So I stand up at a place.
Big A was at a funeral yesterday.
Well, the top man. I never got to no funeral yesterday. So I was at a place, right? And I was standing up and looking at the top shelf. Like the Grey Goose and all of them things, eh?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And so when I saw that, I said, but Big A should be at this place. Why Big A not at this place? Can you say Big A thing that?
When you look around, is it missing?
No, I called him. I said, where are you? He said, I'm just thinking about you. I said, well, there you go. You thinking about me, I think about you.
Okay.
Where are you? Him say, where are you? So I said, where I am. So him say, look here, don't move. Hold your breath, I'm going to be there in 5 minutes.
And how much time it took to get there?
3.
Oh, wow. That's all like Big A.
So you see that me peg him right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, you got him.
Exactly. So yesterday now, me and Biggie was hanging out at that thing.
Okay.
And then me said tomorrow now, me and you will hang out at Dover.
All right.
Right.
Well, let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Walk with
you know, I can't nobody else.
No, walk with your deep pockets. Cause you know the things that we
must walk with my.
We like at though. Yeah, I mean, for a change, it can go the other way around.
No, I don't believe in that.
No, man, it can go the other way around.
That
for
goes
a change.
against everything that I believe in.
No, man, you must be flexible.
I am not that flexible.
No, man, exercise some flexibility on a Labor Day.
You know, so now coming from me, I come spend the money.
No, man, exercise some flexibility. Do it the other way around,
Me
man.
nah come.
Doesn't it get monotonous when you keep doing it one way?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm just asking.
You should be apologize.
No, I'm
Make
asking.
people know so you really stay.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
If I'm saying if it doesn't get monotonous to keep doing it one way all the time,
Yes.
change it round.
Mm-hmm.
So on a Labor Day,
Yes.
in 2015,
Yes.
you just flip the coin and do it the other way.
All right.
And see how it and tell us about it afterwards.
Now look for me. If I saw it all go, me nah go. Dover, we'll see you next
I'm
year.
sure.
When we get a proper man to carry me to Dover.
I'm sure you'd like it.
What are you pick me up?
We'll work out the time later on.
All right then.
We'll work out the time. When I get back from Kingston tonight, I'll work out the time for tomorrow.
Where you got Kingston for?
Lime Street football. Futsal.
Wow, you're very busy this weekend, aren't you?
Yes.
You're working the entire weekend.
I'm working.
I saw you here yesterday.
Working.
When
working.
I want to go down, man. And tell him I don't want to hold it. And happy African Liberation Day when it comes tomorrow, because I know you'll be busy with the sporting thing, and you might not even remember.
Okay.
So I'm just telling you that.
But when I see you, you'll remind me. If I forget.
You mean when you pick me up?
Yeah, I do for Dover.
Remember, not air condition and thing. We're not traveling without that.
Well, I know that.
All right. Well, good. 10 minutes after 9 o'clock here inside of the Africa Forum. Well, 9/11. You see the thing with you guys. Every time I come here, I leave at 9/11, you know. It's long come on, make it 9/12, man. 9/11 again. We don't work with it, man. All right, a quick break. We'll be right back. It's a sign.
Protect yourself from mosquito bites by using mosquito nets, mosquito repellent, and screens on windows and doors. The time courtesy of the Ministry of Health is...
See it? 9/11. You're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African. As many Africans in Jamaica are African Jamaicans.
As we fight one another.
Must be a hut because you need land to build 6,000 hotel rooms and massive commercial developments. But you don't need much to build a hut. And so the question, are we building a nation or are we building a hut? We the people want to know. You know, yesterday as we marched against Monsanto, under the theme, eat what you grow, grow what you eat, there was an open mic session, as we told you earlier, and some really strong points coming from persons who were not necessarily tapped to speak, but were on the ground, on the location, and had burning issues that they wanted to talk about. And one sister in particular, Colleen Taylor, made the point of landlessness and land ownership, and she talked about how relevant and critical that was to everything we were talking about, GMO, and how do we get rid of genetically modified products if we do not have land to ensure that we plant our own. Now, as she did this, she started crying, and she cried because for many reasons. Now, I'm not going to tell you why, because she's here with us this morning. I asked her to come in this morning because I wanted to bring that discussion to the fore and that passion to the fore. Really, really touched my heart yesterday as we gathered after the march at the Otrius Clock Tower. My sister Colleen Taylor, good morning. Thank you so much for joining.
Blessed good morning, Sistah Kabu.
All right, very, very happy to have you in the studio.
Greetings to everyone in Radio Land. Sistah Kabu, my heart goes out to you. You're fighting for us, and we love you. You are my nanny. You're my hero.
I can see, and this is it, you see, because I know that you're carrying the pain of a nation. I know that. Thank you, by the way, for the compliment. But I see that you're carrying the pain of a nation. When you started talking yesterday about landlessness, you made that point cool, calm, and let's say collective. But after a while, the emotions kicked in. Tell me what it is about this issue that gets you so much.
Okay, Sistah Kabu. I am an individual. I was raised in a family that was not my own. So it leaves me in a spot where after becoming an adult, I now started having children. I had my son. So I had to be on my own. I had to rent a place. And moving from one place to the other, I've been renting place, and each time I rent a new place, either I leave the stuff that I had before. Now I'm in a situation where I'm living. It's not the condition that I want to be. I have 2 beautiful daughters and a son. This is not how I dreamt my life to be.
And as a hard worker, because this is what we know you are, you're a hard worker. You're saying you as an individual, an African Jamaican, unable to own land.
I'm unable to own my own home because I don't have land. I cannot buy land. Working on minimum wage. What are the powers that out there? What are they thinking of? How can I work on minimum wage and own a piece of land? It's impossible. The least I can pay for a bit of land in Jamaica is anything over $1 million. When I earn minimum wage that cannot carry a mother and 2 or 3 or 4 children, not just me, every single mother, even double parents out there, when you earn minimum wage, how are you going to own land? Know what I know, because I have books with me that I read, and I carry such books today that I read from different books that shows me that land creates stability in a person's life. If you look all over the world and see the fighting that is going on, what are they fighting over? Land. If this wasn't essential to human stability, why are these huge first world countries fighting over land? We need land in Jamaica. I simply presented the Prime Minister the other day. She was here at IRFM. I presented her persons with a letter to give her, because I outlined, and I have copies of this letter, to say, look, Madam Prime Minister, here is a way to tackle crime. Grant us land. There are entities that offers, I know this because I've done a course through the group BEEP, and through this course and different courses that you do, you're supposed to now gain some kind of means of earning from the skill that you get there, the training that you get there. No, there are entities out there like EU that offers tons and tons, millions of dollars. What I can tell you, if you should check this out, these millions of dollars end up going back to the EU, because the powers that be has put so much red tape, so much bureaucracy to it, that you're not able to access these funding. So if we were able to get land, access these funding, we'll be able to build our own home. We'll be able to start our own little community business. Now, when you build your home, you build your community, you build the district, you start building the nation. Once you give people land, let them have somewhere to live, not having to move up and down and lose everything. How can our children be stable? How can they learn in school when they have to move from pillar to post just because of one stupid decision that these people won't step up to the game? You love poor people? Step up to the game and grant us. Just show us one thing. Grant us land. Give us the land. We're not begging for this. Our ancestors fought for this. We earn it. It belongs to us. Give it to us, so we can create stability in our family, in our communities, in the district. Then you'll have stability in the country. then you will see some sort of growth in your economy, that you are so dependent on these super countries to give you handouts. Even us as a nation, we're tired of handouts from our friends and family. Grant us land so that we can gain stability. That's all we ask of you.
You know, my heart goes out to the sister, and I'm looking at you. I'm seeing your passion. You know, I'm in that place that you've gone to say that there must be some change. Somebody must listen. Somebody must care enough. And the question is, are we at the place where we, depending on the Prime Minister, depending on the state and so on, to provide the land, I think that we're waiting long enough, and we still say that there is an unfinished revolution. The revolution, I think, is going to be predicated on land, how we finish this business that Paul Bogle started, that Sam Sharp started, that Chief Taichi started, how we finish this business of land ownership. You talk about minimum wage, and I know quite a few persons, quite a few mothers who are on minimum wage, who are trying their very best to buy land, to acquire land, and to build a little place. What is the minimum wage, my sister? What is the minimum wage?
Sistah Kabu, I have not worked for the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, I've done a little piece here and a little piece there, but not minimum wage, because when I realized I could not gain a job in Jamaica, I decided to go to a male field, which is construction. My sister and I, we tried to learn a little bit of steel work, so it's not a minimum wage there, so I'm lost.
So that's what you're doing now, the steel work.
As I say, I'm out of work for the last 5 years.
Well, there's so much construction happening in Jamaica, because they tell us that check is there and a lot of construction happening. One would think that, you know, if you have the skill, you can find the job.
Okay, there is an issue in Jamaica here. There's a lot of things that we have to deal with, Sistah Kabu. There's an issue of age limit. In Jamaica, for a man, once you pass 35, it's hard to get a job. For a woman, once you pass 30, it's hard to get a job. Even in the construction field, whether these people like the truth, yes or no, if you're not planning on selling yourself short, you can't even hold a construction job, because it's a male domineering field, and they'll mainly give it to the men. So me as a woman, you're working, you work for the first 2 weeks, and they realize that you're not up to their games, then they tell you that they're gonna have to lay you up because of some situation, but yet still 2 more money, you see they hire some more women. Even at Jamaica Grand, I was there. And either you don't get your pay, or you get it short, or something.
You said you left a letter for the Prime Minister. Have you heard back from them?
No, I have not.
What is it that you're requesting?
Land. I was basically stating to the Prime Minister that here is a way you can tackle crime. And after seeing myself having to move from place to place, I realized that, no, I have to stop and think. Then I'm thinking now, and I realize now that I had my own home, so I could have my own little backyard farming. I would be able to take care of my offsprings. I wouldn't even have to run up and down to try to get some work, because I could create work right there for myself. Because if I farm enough, then I can eat a portion of my produce. I have friends in the market. I can take the rest, what is left over, to them to sell, so I can gain money to send my children to school. I wish the powers that be would truly care about our children. I'm a mother and I care about every child. I know what it is to have your children to send to school and can't send them to school because there's no means of income. There are so many other countries. We follow all the other countries in the world and do everything that I would see that is bad that they do. Can't we just follow them and do something good? There's a little country called Brunei. The Sultan has
created a system for this country and have the country running smooth. We talk about Singapore every day. Can't we just copy from the countries that do good? Just copy the little good here, the little good there, and make good of it in our own country? Can't we care about our children? As a prime minister, as the head of the country, I don't care which party is it, generally, how do you go to bed? How do you sleep at night? Not because we are your children in so speaking. The nation is your children. How do you sleep at night? You must know the hardships that is going on. People are out here hungry. People have nowhere. When I look at children in Montego Bay sleeping on the street, in Kingston, I'm passing and I'm seeing people's children lying on the ground. And although I don't have much for myself, it kills me. Because I'm saying, where are these people that is the head of this country? Don't they see this? Don't it hurt them? Don't it come them to the court to see a child lying on the ground? If this child parents had land to build a little home, to create some amount of stability, then this child would not be lying there. If you even have a home and no bed, you can throw clothes down on the floor and sleep. One day, you'll be able to buy a bed. Please grant us land so that we can have stability. I need land so I can have a home of my own. I've lost furniture on top of furniture from moving place to place to place. I have nothing now. I'm tired of this. Just grant us some land, enough land so we can do our home farming on it, so we can stem out GMO. Unless we have land, it's a problem to stem out GMO. If we have land, we can do our own backyard farming. Don't you care about your people consuming all of this GMO? You don't care.
You know, one of the things that I'm looking at the sister in the studio who's really crying, and this is really no sham. This is no pretense. She is echoing the thoughts, the views, the feelings of a lot of Africans in Jamaica who today are landless, who are getting to the point of hopelessness. But we're not going to be hopeless because we know that this situation has to change. How we change it is by coming together. It's a unity that is important, and determining how we move on from here. You are echoing the thoughts of many teachers who are taking home $70,000 per month, and that is what a lot of teachers are taking home, who are now being offered a 5% increase after a wage freeze of 5 years. The wickedness that is being meted out to our public sector workers, it is unspeakable for many. You can't put into words the extent of this wickedness, because we see the flip side of this in terms of what is happening with how government ministers are acquiring land and property. There are people who have come into political parties as representing different constituencies, and we know you before you go in, and we see you as you make your way to become the landed gentry, because you acquire more and more land and you acquire more and more real estate. And this is the order of the day in Jamaica. It cannot continue. Not when women like my sister Colleen, not when women who are working so hard are landless and as a result homeless. We are going to get to a point when something's got to give, and I think we're at that point now. Colleen, I know you're waiting on the Prime Minister to respond to that letter. In the meantime, what do you do?
Sister Andrew, honestly, Sister Kabu, I'm out of it. I need someone to tell me what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't even know if I can hold on anymore. I don't even know if I want to stay here anymore.
all that is keeping me is my 2 daughters, because they are babies, and I'm just trying to hold it for them. I see them trying their utmost best in school, and because of that, I'm just trying to hold on for them.
Hold on, my sister. Hold on for them, and let us continue this conversation. Let us appeal to the Prime Minister to respond, but also to our own selves to somehow face this issue of landlessness in Jamaica. Too many of us are without land while we watch vast swathes of land being given to others. And we don't want to be accused of any kind of xenophobia or racism or anything like that, because that's not what it is. But our people must be priority. In other words, you can't be giving away acres and acres and acres of land when so many Jamaicans are landless. I am looking now also at the Roaring River lands, and I'm looking at the people who are called squatters there. And I'm asking, where will they go? Who are they and where will they go? My sister, I thank you for speaking yesterday. I thank you for coming in today and for raising that issue, for reconfirming that this must be priority, the issue of land ownership in Jamaica, the issue of attacking landlessness, and especially among African Jamaicans, because that's what the situation is. There's still large amounts of land in Jamaica being owned by the descendants of enslavers. That we know, and a lot of this is idle land. So these are some of the issues that we have to attack head on. Thank you again, my sister. The ancestors go with you. We will keep in touch.
Sistah Kabu.
We will keep in touch. Thank you so much. Colleen Taylor, raising the issue of land, landlessness, land ownership, lack of land, and at the same time, we are bearing witness to large acres of land being given to others in the name of trade-off or investment. What are you willing to trade off? Who are you willing to trade off? And how can you tell us that our living is better while you trade off and our people are sleeping on the streets? Our mothers are homeless. How can you talk to us about trading off land?
To identify the enemy is to free the mind of the people. Speak to the mind of the people. Speak truth.
And I will follow you everywhere you go.
Brother Richie Innocent, I'm in receipt of your email. You've titled it Angered and Tearful. You say, I send this message with great pain and anger, since the future of our children and posterity is on sale by those who have the mindset of those who relish the company and privilege from their masters. The invasion of a cockpit country and the roaring river is a transfer to those who are revered by the sellouts. Thank you so much, my brother.
What have we done?
What have we done? What have we done? Our only sin? Is it a sin? But this is what they sang in South Africa under apartheid, is that we're black. Black people, we must take a stand. We must take a stand, even if we're sitting down. Now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time to take a stand against injustice, against exclusion, against denial, against being treated like dog filth under the tires of their SUVs. Now is the time. Now is the time. In the 150th year of Paul Bogle's assassination, now is the time. In the vein of Chief of Nitaichi, Chief Taki, we must take a stand. In the vein of Sam Sharp, we must take a stand. In the name of Nani, we must take a stand. We who claim to be the children of Nani understands that we hold the hand of each one. That we say when and where we enter, and there the entire race enters with us. We who claim to be the children of Nani know that. We are not what we say we are. We are not who we say we are. We are what we do.
From the masses of the people. Tell no lies. Expose lies whenever they are told. Mask no difficulties, mistakes, failures. Claim no easy victory.
Ganja Farmer, I'm in receipt of your email. You say, greetings, Cabo. Give thanks to all marchers. IRFM and the team for the march yesterday. What a joy. We want to see more young people out there. Monsanto, Roaring River, Cockpit are all symptoms in the liberation struggle of the African people of Jamaica. We need a march from St. Anne's Bay to Roaring River. Call upon the spirit of Marcus Garvey. This watershed stresses from White River to Great River and encompasses St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth, north and south. Some of the language I can't read, but I am with you, my brother. If we mess with these riverheads, we perish. Simple. Lamar Davies, PJP. Peter and the cabinet must be spotlighted and held accountable.
All the sea is we are playing. All the sea is we are playing. All the sea.
What have we done? What have we done? Teachers and doctors must rise up. Public sector workers pretending to belong to class and guarding class over justice are part of the problem.
Is we are playing our own sins. Is we are playing our own sins.
When we lose our African connection, we lose our rural connection. When we disconnect ourselves from Africa, we cease to be a world people. Without the African connection, we are a disjointed people, begging for the entry into somebody else's house.
So what are we doing as a people, African Jamaicans? Where are we going and how are we getting there? When and where we enter, we must choose that. But have we chosen to enter at the point of abolition and emancipation? Have we chosen to enter as slaves? Because if we have chosen to enter as slaves, that is why we're witnessing our governments shamelessly peddling our resources, which should be for the benefit of our people, to the first buyer, convinced that our resources will not be available for the welfare of African Jamaicans. Where and when and how have we entered? Have we entered as the children of Hatshepsut and Yah Asantua? Have we entered as the children of Nzinga, Queen Nzinga? Or are we entering at the point of abolition and emancipation? Who are we as a people and where are we entering? Only the black woman can say when and where I enter. And there the entire race enters with me. I enter at the point of Kemet, Maat Kheru. If we're entering as slaves, then that explains why we are unable to pay decent wages to our citizens, subjecting them to make do with the crumbs left over by the plunderers of Africa, of Jamaica. When and where and how have we chosen to enter?
What have we done?
If we have entered as slaves, then that would explain why we are powerless. If we have entered at the point of emancipation, if we have entered at the point of independence, then that would explain why we are so powerless to set our own prices, our own standard for our own crops, our own minerals, our own goods and our own services. That would explain why we have sold out our children and generations to the IMF, because we have entered at the point of emancipation. Because we have entered at the point of abolition. Because we have entered at the point of independence. I enter as an African without apology. I enter as an ancient Egyptian. I entered as the creator of civilization. I enter as Hatshepsut. I enter as Yah Asantua.
What have we done?
And because I enter as an African, oppression is something I will not accept. Cannot, even if I tried. When and where we enter.
All the sea is we are playing. All the sea is we are playing. All the sea
From Goat Island to Roaring River to Laughing Waters to the Cockpit Country. How are we entering? From Winifred Beach to Little Duns River to Fisherman's Beach to the coastlines from Negril Point to Morant Point. How are we entering? If we enter as slaves, they will enslave us. If we enter as free Africans, no man can stand with their boots on our necks. It's an unfinished revolution, and we must finish it.
what have we done? What have we done? What have we done? What have we done? Solo sei tu.
Never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another.
When we lose our African connection, we lose our world connection. When we disconnect ourselves from Africa, we cease to be a world people. Without the African connection, we are a disjointed people, begging for the entry into somebody else's house.
Just before the bottom line, the U.S. Center for Cannabis Research, in association with DHAPA, presents Herb Sip Up African Liberation Day 2015 celebrations, Monday, May 25, 22 West Road, Uwimona, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Features open house, open yard, Rastafari reasoning and discussion, reggae roots and culture music, backyard films, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Price of Memory by Karen Marks Mafundikwa. Bad Friday, Rastafari After Coral Gardens by Deborah A. Thomas and John L. Jackson Jr. Complimentary Idle Sip. Admission is free and all are invited. That's Herb Sip Up, African Liberation Day celebrations. That's tomorrow, Monday, May 25, 22 West Road, Uwe Mona, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. In the bottom line this morning, we're actually going to be reading from Julius Nyereri's strong advocacy for the pursuit of Sergeant for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's agenda for Africa in commemoration of African Liberation Day, which is tomorrow, May 25. In the words of Julius Nyerere, so my remaining remarks have a confession and a plea. The confession is that we of the first generation leaders of independent Africa have not pursued the objective of African unity with vigor, commitment, and the sincerity that it deserved. Yet, that does not mean that unity is now irrelevant. Does the experience of the last 3 or 4 decades of Africa's independence dispel the need for African unity? With our successes in the liberation struggle, Africa today has 53 independent states, 21 more than those which met in Addis Ababa in 1963. If numbers were horses, Africa today would be riding high. Africa would be the strongest continent in the world, for it occupies more seats in the UN General Assembly than any other continent. In the words of Julius Nyerere, yet the reality is that ours is the poorest and weakest continent in the world, and our weakness is pathetic. Unity will not end our weakness, but until we unite, we cannot even begin to end that weakness. So in the words of Julius Nyerere, this is my plea to a new generation of African leaders and African peoples. Work for unity with a firm conviction that without unity, there is no future for Africa. That is, of course, assuming that we still want to have a place under the sun. I reject the glorification of the nation state that we inherited from colonialism and the artificial nations we are trying to forge from that inheritance. We are all Africans trying very hard to be Ghanaians or Tanzanians. Fortunately for Africa, we have not been completely successful. Dr. Julius Nyerere says the outside world hardly recognizes our Ghana-ness or Tanzania-ness. With the outside world, what the outside world recognizes about us is our Africanness. Hitler was a German. Mussolini was an Italian. Franco was a Spaniard. Salazar was Portuguese. Stalin was a Russian or a Georgian. Nobody expected Churchill to be ashamed of Hitler. He was probably ashamed of Chamberlain. Nobody expected Charles de Gaulle to be ashamed of Hitler. He was probably ashamed of the complicity of Vichy. It is the Germans and Italians and Spaniards and the Portuguese who feel uneasy about those dictators in their respective countries. Not so in Africa. Idi Amin was in Uganda, but of Africa. Jean Bokassa was in Central Africa, but out of Africa. Some of the dictators are still alive in their respective countries, but they are all of Africa. They are all Africans and all perceived by the outside world as Africans. Julius Nyerere says, when I travel outside Africa, the description of me as a former president of Tanzania is a fleeting affair. It does not stick. Apart from the ignorant who sometimes ask me whether Tanzania was in Johannesburg, even to those who knew better, what stuck in the minds of my hosts was the fact of my Africanness. So I had to answer the questions about the atrocities of Idi Amin and Bokassas of Africa. Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the former Indian Prime Minister, did not have to answer the questions about the atrocities of Marcos of Asia, nor does Fidel Castro have to answer the questions about the atrocities of the Somozas of Latin America. But when I travel or meet foreigners, I have to answer questions about Somalia, Liberia, Rwanda, Burundi, and Zaire. As in the past, I used to answer questions about Mozambique, Angola, Zimbabwe, Namibia, or South Africa. And the way I was perceived is the way most of my fellow heads of state were perceived. And that is the way you, the people of Africa, are all being perceived. So accepting the fact that we are Africans gives you a much more worthwhile challenge than the current desperate attempts to fossilize Africa into the wounds inflicted upon it by the vultures of imperialism. Do not be proud of your shame. Do not be proud of your shame. Julius Nyerere says, reject the return to the tribe. There is richness of culture out there, which we must do everything we can to preserve and share. But it is utter rubbish to think that if these artificial unviable states which we are trying to create are broken up into tribal components and we turn those into nation states, we may save ourselves. That kind of political and social activism spells catastrophe for Africa. It would be the end of any kind of genuine development for Africa. It would fossilize Africa into a worse state than the one in which we are. The future of Africa, the modernization of Africa that has a place in the 21st century, is linked with its decolonization and detribalization. Tribal activism would be giving up any hope for Africa. And of all the sins that Africa can commit, the sin of despair would be the most unforgivable. In the words of Julius Nyerere, reject the nonsense of dividing the African peoples into Anglophones, Francophones, and Lusophones. This attempt to divide our peoples according to the language of their former colonial masters must be rejected with the firmness and utter contempt that it richly deserves. The natural owners of those wonderful languages are busy building a united Europe, but Europe is strong even without unity. Europe has less need of unity and the strength that comes from unity than Africa. In the words of Julius Nyerere, a new generation of self-respecting Africans should spit in the face of anybody who suggests that our continent should remain divided and fossilized in the shame of colonialism in order to satisfy the national pride of our former colonial masters. Africa must unite. That was the title of one of Kwame Nkrumah's book. That call is more urgent today than ever before. Together, we the peoples of Africa will be incomparably stronger internationally than we are now with our multiplicity of unviable states. The needs of our separate countries can be and are being ignored by the rich and powerful. The result is that Africa is marginalized when international decisions affecting our vital interests are made. Unity will not make us rich, but it can make it difficult for Africa and the African peoples to be disregarded and humiliated. And it will therefore increase the effectiveness of decisions we make and try to implement in our development. Finally, in the words of Julius Nyerere, my generation led Africa to political freedom. The current generation of leaders and peoples of Africa must pick up the flickering torch of African freedom, refuel it with their enthusiasm and determination, and carry it forward. That's the bottom line. Let your food be your medicine, and your medicine your food. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Kabu Maat Kheru. Thank you to my broadcast assistant, Shamara Preston. Thank you all. Thank you on the social media. Thank you everywhere you are. Thank you for listening. See you next week, inshallah. God willing.